This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, restoring what Mother Nature taketh away. A new phase of beach renourishment is beginning on Longboat Key at a cost of millions of dollars to you. The first phase finished 2 months ahead of schedule. Dump trucks brought in sand. The cost $10 million. Now dredging is set to begin at New Pass and Longboat Pass. Sand from these areas will help renourish more than a mile of beach. The new phase is expected to cost $6 million, but Public Works says it is critically needed.
We have lost over 100 feet of beach. Not only the width of the beach, but the height of the beach, and that is what provides storm protection. So it's imperative that we restore its beaches.
Dredging gets underway this week. The project is expected to be completed by October. Meanwhile, on Longboat Key, demolition is beginning at the Colony Resort. The Colony closed 6 years ago. Now an Orlando-based developer, Unicorp, is planning to build 360 new condos and hotel rooms. Only on the commercial parts of the property are being demolished right now. Unicorp still needs approval from the condo owners before moving forward. The new resort is expected to open on New Year's Eve of 2020. Now to Sarasota, where plans for one of the most valuable pieces of waterfront property are being discussed. The city's planning board is holding a special meeting on Wednesday on what should be done with the former Quay site. The location is now known as the Sarasota Bayside. The planning board will discuss how to develop the property over the next decade. Classes begin in Sarasota County next week, and teachers are already settling in with some new tools at their disposal. One of the county's oldest schools, Fruitville Elementary, is getting a modern update, a new 18-classroom building with sections dedicated for special needs students. Teachers say even the new furniture helps them work with autistic students.
The furniture can easily be moved and reconfigured. That's not something we had prior. In trying to instruct them and work with their individual needs, I think that's going to help the instruction.
The school is also improving its parking lot and adding a covered play area for students. Florida's August primary is nearly 2 weeks away, but early voting is already underway in more than a third of the counties around the state. Early voting must begin on August 20th, but local supervisors of elections have the authority to begin today. However, Sarasota and Manatee counties will not begin earlier. More than 500,000 voters have already submitted their ballots by mail. Venice's Art Center is about to undergo a major expansion. The center provides classes for several thousand students. 2 additional classrooms will be added to offer more than 100 classes annually. The center says it is responding to overwhelming demand.
We've had to turn people away because the classes have been full, especially this past season. It seems every year we grow bigger and bigger, so we really have a demand for the space.
The expansion will cost $240,000. It is being paid for in part through grants from the Marie Selby Foundation, class fees, and donations. And Bob, I could hear the boomers outside.
Yeah, they're big right now in downtown Sarasota here at the studios, and as elsewhere up in parts of Manatee County and down south into Venice. So they're spread about here. They're moving pretty good. So it doesn't appear that we're going to see any kind of a significant flooding problems, but dangerous lightning strikes are occurring with these cells at this point as they make their way pretty quickly off to the west at around 15 miles an hour. Here's a look now at the tower cam, if you will, at the Lakewood Ranch webcam, showing you what's been going on since 5 o'clock. You'll see these clouds kind of darken up as they moved in from the southeast, and boy, torrential rains there for about 30 minutes or so, and now things are starting to clear out of there once again, and a few isolated showers east of Lakewood Ranch. But the first round moved through around 4 o'clock or so, then a second round moving through now, and you can see that heavy rain lined up just to the east of Siesta Key and now entered into Venice. Northport, you're clear right now, but there's a couple of showers behind it, not too intense. The rain heavy now at Longboat Key, starting to wind down a little bit in downtown Sarasota As I said, these storms are moving to the west, and Bradenton, northwest Bradenton, gets some pretty heavy rainfall near Manatee Avenue and 75th Street. And then you can see near Foxley some pretty heavy showers and storms down near Nokomis and Palmer Ranch, getting ready to see some pretty heavy rain for a short period of time. And as I mentioned, most of this should be winding down fairly soon here in the next hour or so. Raining at the airport. It's cooled now to 78 degrees after we set a record high today of 96 degrees, and that actually tied our old mark set back in 1990 when it got up to 96. Well, the overall picture will continue to show these showers and storms in the afternoon and evening, scattered about. It looks like this evening's activity should be winding down here in the next half hour or so, and then we'll see more storms tomorrow afternoon, followed by similar conditions on Thursday, with the possibility of less activity as we push in toward the weekend. For boaters, it looks like this, a light chop out there, and the 7-day forecast is calling for a chance, anyway, of showers and storms riding in through the weekend. Alan, better chances for the next couple of days, however.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, red light cameras have brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue for Bradenton, but are they keeping you safe? Debate heats up as the future of the cameras come up for a vote. That story when we come back.
Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Will they stay or will they go? Bradenton's red light cameras contracts come up on Wednesday. The city council will make the decision about the future of the cameras in the city, but the issue is stirring up heated debate. ABC7's Rick Adams takes a closer look.
The eye in the sky is watching you, usually when you least expect it. The 7 red light cameras at different intersections throughout the city of Bradenton have been the source of many tickets to violators and the cause of a lot of frustration. Daniel Bruce and his wife Carla of Bradenton were enjoying a beautiful day on the Riverwalk, right down the road from one of these red light cameras. They tell us they would be happy to see these cameras come down.
I say yes, get rid of them. Let the people be responsible for their own actions as far as obeying the traffic lights and stuff like that.
They and other folks who are opposed to red light cameras may soon get their wish. On Wednesday, the City Council is expected to vote on whether to renew a contract that has just expired for the red light cameras. Councilman Patrick Roth says the council is pretty split on renewing the contract for these cameras. The last 2 times it was up for a vote, he was in favor of them, but he also has some concerns.
I made it perfectly clear on both times that one of my main concerns is public safety and not revenue.
Another big concern for Roth is where the cameras have been placed. He's made a big push to have a red light camera at the intersection of Manatee Avenue and 26th Street, what he calls a very dangerous intersection, but there is still no camera at that location.
Not judging red light cameras, I would say, how effective has this vendor been in the city of Bradenton? I'm not thrilled with the performance level of the vendor.
The Bradenton Police Department has reported that since the red light cameras were installed 8 years ago, citations at the intersections with these cameras tripled, while drivers running red lights has dropped by at least 7%. We're being told the city's net revenue generated from these cameras so far has been more than $270,000. Councilman Bemis Smith says he's just worried about keeping people out of harm's way.
We are not out there to run check marks and boxes to see how many citations we can write or how many people we can catch doing bad things if catching them doesn't make us any safer.
Miguel Malcolm is in favor of red light cameras, even though he's received citations from these types of cameras in Brooklyn, New York.
I think they help safety in the area, right? Like, I feel as long as it's not something that's targeted to, make money off of the consumers in the area.
Something else the city council will have to consider is a recent study that found red light running crashes had actually increased in places where they were recently removed. In just a matter of days, we'll know whether or not that red light camera back there and others throughout the city of Bradenton will be coming down. The Bradenton Police Department says they will not comment on this until a decision is made. Reporting from Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
When we come back, the debate over red light cameras goes to our roundtable.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Do you have what it takes to become a champion? The Sarasota YMCA Sharks Swim Team has been developing champions since 1961. Fall swim team tryouts for kids ages 6 through 18 are being held August 15th through the 18th and August 22nd to the 25th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Tryouts are held at the Evelyn Sadler Jones branch, YMCA's Selby Aquatic Center. For more information, visit sarasotaymca.org/sharks.
Joining us for more on tonight's topic is Mark Young, Urban Affairs reporter for the Bradenton Herald, Melissa Wandel, president of the National Coalition for Safer Roads. She helped inspire the passage of Florida's red light camera law in 2010, and Bradenton City Councilman Bemis Smith. Thank you all for being here. I guess here is the central question. Are red light cameras effective in terms of cutting down, in terms of people driving through them?
I think the answer is very mixed. I think you can go out there and find different studies and different data that will fit your argument. That's been my experience thus far, and I think that's what you're finding in other cities that are taking their cameras down, and some like Orlando who are expanding their cameras. It's just a matter of how they want to interpret that data.
And actually, in the one of your last stories that you wrote about, the information was given to the city council, and it said that there's actually been an increase in accidents at camera intersections, but a significant decrease in angle accidents, which I would imagine are more severe.
Right. Well, and And that's true. And that was one of the factors that came up in the discussions when we first put on red light cameras, is a lot of the national studies, which were done mainly in the Northeast at that time, showed an increase in accidents, rear end accidents when people are stopping, but a decrease in the number of angled accidents, which typically are more severe. In the case of Bradenton's, the information that we received at our last meeting, the accidents did increase just as we had seen in the studies, and the angled accidents were lowered as well. But the problem was that the red light running accidents basically stayed the same. And that's where my concerns came in, is that we had maybe one more and one less every year.
But you know, I was struck by something in Rick's story, the interview of the local man who said, remove all the cameras because people should be responsible for themselves. But Melissa, you know in the most personal of ways about the impact of people running through red light cameras. Your husband was killed not long after you had a baby.
We didn't even have a baby. We were 9 months pregnant that day when my husband was killed by a red light runner, and my brother was seriously injured.
So there's no doubt in your mind this is an issue of life and death.
I really, when this happened, I wanted to find a way to prevent people from running red lights. And that was, so I set out on my own to research and study red light safety cameras around this country, because I wanted to find a way for people to curb the behaviors and to retrain their brains to stop on red again. Because the issue is that people aren't doing it themselves. If people were doing it themselves, then we wouldn't have people being seriously killed and seriously injured every day due to red light running. And you know, it's red light safety cameras, it's education, advocacy, and enforcement combined that's going to take part in saving lives.
Yeah, the act in Florida was passed, I believe, in 2010, yes. And you have all these cities and communities that we're describing here that are taking different approaches. I remember when they all went in Tampa. Now they're coming out in Tampa, and you have people who fundamentally believe that this is nothing but a revenue producer for the communities.
Right, and if I may say something about that, number one, if nobody was running a red light, there'd be no money to make, number one, because that's the cause, that's the hope at the end of the day that that's not going to happen. But if people are running red lights, number one, the cameras pay for themselves. Number two, $10 per ticket goes to 22 level 1 trauma centers in the state of Florida. $3 per ticket go to the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis. So if they are making money, they're going to some good causes. There's nothing we can do about the percentage that goes to the state. That's why they passed the bill in 2010 in my husband's name. And that's what it's about. It's not about a camera, a piece of technology. It's about human life. It's the value of a human life. And sometimes we get away from that. And what we need to understand is if these cameras aren't placed in the right where they need to be, then they need to be moved. I mean, that's what the vendor, FDOT, and the communities, some of these communities, like in Orlando, they have a great program.
Right, but Mark, you also hear a lot of complaints about vendors, not only locally, but in a lot of different communities. Where is that coming from?
Where are the complaints coming from?
In terms of why do so many people fault the different vendors out there that install these cameras?
Well, it's like any other private company that does business. I mean, they're out to make money, you know. So they are picking some intersections that are known to create more violations than other intersections. You know, it's a very passionate issue. I mean, our readership is very split on it. Some people do believe it's a revenue generator, but it's not a revenue generator locally when 90% of the money is leaving the community and not staying in the community.
And that's exactly the position that I've taken on this. I'm extremely sensitive to Melissa's, the impact on her life and what happened. And I agree with her on the selection of intersections for red light cameras where they actually do reduce the accidents there. The problem that we've seen in the city of Bradenton is, one, we don't make much money. We end up getting about 13% now that the state gets their cut. So out of $1 million worth of tickets that are written in our community, 130,000 comes back to the city, which is a relatively small number as a proportion of the total cost. The problem that arises that I see is we think of red light violations, but when you look at the numbers that the chief presented to us as far as the violation goes, the officers noted that an officer sitting at that intersection and watching for red light runners would not be able to tell that that person ran the red light. Out of 35, the chief gave us numbers, randomly selected 35 violations each year. And of those, in 2016 or 15 and 16, there was only 3 that were longer than 1 second after running the intersection, the light had changed.
And I tell you, I personally, for the purposes of doing a story when they first came into a local community, sat there and watched people going through the red lights, and I could tell you how often, you get, it could be several per minute if you're just sitting there. But Melissa, if a lot of the opposition is due to the amount of money from these fines are not staying in the local community, would you be supportive of new state legislation that would change that equation?
Well, absolutely. But you can, as a city or a county, you can determine where that money goes. You can take, like Orlando's program, so they've got $10 per ticket, $3 per ticket, so much money goes to the state, so much money goes to the city. Well, you can actually, the state's never going to let you take more money. I mean, we have to be realistic about politics and about Tallahassee and where the money is going. But the cities and the counties themselves can determine the portion if they want to give it back to law enforcement, if they want to give it back to fire and rescue, if they want to give it back to help with roads. Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing is that people don't understand the value of the red light safety camera, so people argue and pick and do, and they're very negative about it. He's not. But there are people that are very negative about it, and we have to really stop and get back to the table at the end of the day. Come to the table and say, this is what's working, this is not what's working. The vendor should never be the one picking the intersection. That is up to FDOT, and that is up to the city, and that is up to the counties.
We only have a couple of seconds left, but Mark, what is the trend in terms of local communities and their use of red light cameras?
It really is a mixed bag. If I could just close with one thing, I mean, a traffic engineer friend of mine said you can't engineer out bad behavior, and that's really what this comes down to as well. So it'll be interesting to see which way the city council goes on Wednesday.
And of course, as we discussed, this can be a matter of life and death. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back in a moment with viewer comments.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Attention! This is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, even death. If you or a loved one suffered serious complications, call IVC Filter Helpline now. You may be entitled to compensation. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call IVC Filter Helpline today. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone. Call IVC Filter Helpline now.
Please call 800-897-6764. That is 800-897-6764.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Welcome to the all-new Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice.
Seymour smiles.
Seymour selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles.
Seymour for your trade-in.
Seymour Savings.
Discover the new Buick and get cash back for up to 16% of the MSRP on select 2016 Buick vehicles. That's nearly $8,000 cash back on this Buick LaCrosse.
Seymour now at Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice. Go to SeymourBuickGMC.com.
Welcome back. On Friday, we spoke with the Suncoast Answer Coalition about the controversial protest that they put on the previous weekend. Protesters made their way through University Town Center Mall before being asked to leave. Then they blocked traffic on Cattleman Road. Here is what you have to say. Carol McCoy writes, everyone likes a good, peaceful protest, but when you block the flow of traffic, it is not peaceful or safe. Ellie Harris writes, I celebrate that we have freedom of speech and can protest. However, why in the world would you protest UTC? UTC is a private company and has nothing to do with the protest and or cause. This could potentially impact innocent business owners in a negative way. And Chris Weigman writes, good for them. And by judging the comments, it looks like a job well done. As people noticed, hopefully more folks will wake up to the reason why. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And that is all the time we have for this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Cohn, and have a good night.